Hello friends, just gonna go over somewhat of a tutorial on this and as I remember how to make this, because like I mentioned in the video, I did this 3 months ago, started it 3 months ago and never followed through. I did use fabric for this. This fabric here I got from a secondhand scrapbook store and just bought fabric, so you can buy fabric from anywhere. For the signatures, I used brads to hold them in. You can sew them in if you want, totally up to you. So you can see the brads here. You can cover this if you want. This, I used stencils and I just used distressed ink and went over that just to give it a little bit. These pieces here, these were what I had left of some trimmings, and this I believe I got at Dollar Tree sometime last year, a year and a half ago. So that's what I used for there. And all I needed or used was 2 paper bags and some fabric. Now you can also use paper if you like. I've never made it with paper. This was my first attempt at this. I'm gonna go over with you some steps, but I'm not gonna go over it completely because I really don't remember everything. But all you'll need is 2 paper bags. What size paper bags you choose is totally up to you. A lovely lady asked what size were my journal pages, and that totally depends on the size of your bags. So and I'll go over that in just a second. But you'll need 2 paper bags, and these I had bought a big old bag of lunch bags at Target almost 2 years ago, and that's where these are from. I didn't trim them, I didn't do anything, I just needed 2 bags. And then you can choose fabric if you want. This is from my lovely sweet friend Miss Kelly who sent this to me. I'm not going to actually glue it on. I'm just going to go over the steps with you. You can use fabric or you can use paper. I don't know how to answer the paper questions because I've not used it, but I think I may use this for this one as well. Still not sure. So what you'll need is with your 2 paper bags, easy peasy. You put them like this. Let me just come out a little bit if I can. I don't think I can. Let me see if that works. Okay, so all I did was do opposite ends and adhere them this way so that you have the 2 pockets up, or these 2 pieces facing up. Now you can, if you have a sewing machine, you can sew this all the way around if you want. I'm sure it'll look more beautiful. It's preference. I don't have a sewing machine, so I glued mine. And I believe what I did is I added glue all the way here and here, and then attached the bags. Okay, I checked and I did not glue these bags here, and you'll see why in just a second. It's not necessary. So there's no trimming to the bag whatsoever. Once I adhered this, I grabbed the piece of fabric that I had, and I'll show you how I think I placed it. So what I did is I flipped once you adhere it or sew it, then you're gonna flip it over so it's looking at you this way. This here is going to turn into this flap here, okay? So what I did is I'm cutting a piece of fabric that's going to be about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, or even 1/2 an inch. I honestly don't remember what I did. I would say more of 1/4 of an inch. And what you want to do is when you cut it, you want maybe 1/4 of an inch all the way around, okay? And then when you go to cover this portion here, you want to go a little bit above. It's going to be hard because it's not attached, but bear with me, guys. Thank you. So what you want to do is make sure that the fabric is slightly past the edge here, because what you're going to do is this is going to be tucked underneath like this, okay? And so that will create your little pocket here like I have here, okay? So that's how I have this, and it's a pretty deep pocket, okay? And I just put a piece of craft paper here to cover it, but this is actually the bag, and just so that it slides in and out easier. That's the only reason why I put this piece of paper here. So that's it, really. And you would cover it like you would a journal or chipboard covers. You were gonna fold it. It's hard to do without me actually doing it, but I'm gonna do my best. So when you're covering it, okay, you're gonna have the edges come over this way, and that's okay. This is why I didn't glue anything here, because once I fold this over and cover it, it should be covered. It should look sort of something like this. You don't want it complete coverage because you want to be able to have these pockets. So by you adhering this or sewing this all the way around, you want to make sure you have enough here too. So all of this is going to be covered. This will be covered. This will be covered, and this will be covered. How much you want to go up is totally up to you. How wide you want your pocket opening is going to be totally up to you. But this will be a shallow pocket because of the closure here, okay? So, again, coverage here, coverage here, coverage here, and coverage here. Now, when you come here, it's going to be like wrapping a present. It's going to be hard not to have bulk here. So I did my edges this way and came this way and then came over this way just to close it. You can close this however you want. Totally up to you. I don't sew. I don't have fabrics. I'm not a seamstress in any way, but this is what worked for me. So the thicker, keep in mind the thickness of I will say, keep in mind the thickness of the fabric you want to use, because the one I used here was a little bit bulky. And so you can see the thickness here. So I probably, again, this was my first time. I didn't know what to expect. So how you fold your corners, how you would like. And also keep in mind, if you are going to use adhesive, and by the way, I used Fabrifix for mine. If you're gonna use a very super thin fabric, it's gonna seep through. Okay, so you may wanna keep that in mind also, especially for this part of the book. So if the darker the color, the less seam of the glue would ooze through your fabric, or you could see the spots, if that makes sense. Again, I'm only talking from my own experience. I'm not an expert in this field. Once I've covered the front and the back, again, you can sew it or you can glue it, okay? This is gonna be a pocket. Then once you cover the when you're ready to cover the inside, you're only gonna add more fabric here or here so that it covers this part here, okay? Or paper, whatever you choose. So you're gonna need quite a bit of fabric to be able to cover the front and the inside part here. And I cut 2 pieces of chipboard, the length of this flap here. So once you cut your chipboard, you're gonna wrap that chipboard in fabric as well, okay? So that it's going to look like this pocket. You really can't see it because I added this here. But this is a piece of chipboard that I placed with my fabric on top of here. So despite it being a flimsy bag, it's gonna be pretty solid, okay? And so that creates your pocket. And again, it's not a deep pocket, it's a very shallow pocket, okay? And you would think it was a thicker board, but it's not, okay? So that's basically it. And then what I did was I measured in the center, punched holes with my Crop-A-Dile or a piercing tool, and then I folded it over. And that's how I determined my pages. So my pages for these bags in particular were 5 by 12. I wanted a little bit of gap on the inside. I didn't want to go all the way to the top. So there's not very much. So it's about 1/8 of an inch from the top. So again, the cutting the paper is totally up to you, how much you want exposed, how much of the frame you want around the edges. And that's pretty much it. I would have done a different closure. Again, I'm not experienced at this. I just added this ribbon. I added adhesive on the back just to stick it down, but I think I would have added something here like a hair tie or something with a little clip, or I don't know, maybe something different. But as it got bigger with the things I put on there, I couldn't use the clip that I originally planned on using. But that's pretty much it. Kept it simple and a lot of room to write, a lot of pockets. And the pockets were just scraps of paper that I had, and I embellished it with the papers that I used for the pages here. So the other piece from here, I created the 2 pockets because there was 2 pockets of each paper. So nothing really went to waste. I only used half a sheet of 12 by 12 paper to create the pockets for each design. Okay, so that was it. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is kind of quick. I only have 10 minutes to do this video. Thank you for your love and support for this project. I absolutely love you guys. God bless. Take care. I love you. God loves you. Until next time. Bye.